This is a stimulus check update and daily news report. Got some new stimulus checks going out. So this article right here, thousands of Americans to get $80,000 in homeowner stimulus checks, how to apply for mortgage help. Then this one, thousands of Americans could get monthly universal basic income checks of up to $1,446 next year. Are you eligible? President Biden's legacy is hanging by a thread when it comes to the Build Back Better plan and how it is put on the back burner. I'll give you the latest update with that. When it comes to the supply chain, President Biden hails a victory and that it is over, but yet problems still persist. And I'll give you a quick COVID update, how there's a second COVID pill that has just been approved by the FDA, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Merry Christmas Eve. Hope you're enjoying your day. So the kids are a little distracted right now. My wife worked a 24-hour shift last night as a nurse, so she's passed out. So I figured I had a couple of minutes, wanted to give you a quick update, and I'm giving $200 to my subscribers, announcing that on the 26th. So you still have some time to enter if you haven't already. So let's get into some news. I'll make this really quick. FDA authorizes second COVID-19 antiviral pill, Merck's Molnupiravir. I think that's how you say it. So it's just authorized for adults 18 and older who have tested positive for COVID-19 and are at high risk of hospitalization or death. So basically, the way this pill works, just like the Pfizer pill I mentioned a couple days ago, if you test positive, then you take the pill and it won't make your case as severe. So that's how they're being used. It's not like a preventative, like a vaccine. It's more like after you get tested for it. So Israel begins fourth COVID-19 dose vaccine rollout for people 60 and over as Omicron cases surge. So I don't know. Is this the answer? More and more vaccines? At what point is it going to be like a daily vaccine? We'll see what happens. So it looks like a fourth is going on in Israel. I think they might have been the first ones to start the booster third shot. So might have a fourth going on in America too. Then we have this. Omicron COVID infections have 80% lower risk of hospitalization in South Africa, hotspot study shows. So they said this in the beginning that although it transfers a lot more than any other variant, the risk of hospitalization is a lot lower with Omicron. So I guess there's a silver lining there. Biden legacy could hinge on passage of Build Back Better bill. So if President Biden doesn't pass this, is his legacy over? Is this how he's going to be remembered? Take a look at this video clip right here.
So Hill, Biden's legacy doesn't have to be solely riding on this bill. Getting the hard infrastructure bill passed was huge. Getting us through COVID, massive.
Stephanie, it's certainly true that the White House argues the president deserves more credit for COVID vaccinations and the economic recovery. But the truth is, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road, President Biden is going to be remembered in living rooms and around kitchen tables for whether he delivers on his larger promise of making life more affordable for middle-class Americans who are struggling and falling behind. That was the larger promise of his campaign, not just being a crisis manager. And that is where the Build Back Better Act comes in. This is his one shot to deliver that. This is his one shot to bypass the filibuster and get something done on a major economic priority before the midterm elections, where his party is more likely than not to lose at least one chamber of Congress. It's remarkable for a man who has spent nearly half a century in public office, how much of his legacy comes down to this moment, whether he can salvage his signature domestic priority, which is, by the way, named after his campaign slogan. That is how encompassing it is in terms of his promise to Americans.
So let me know your thoughts on this. Did President Biden accomplish a lot during his presidency so far with COVID, with the infrastructure? Is that good enough or not good enough? Is he doing a good job, bad job? Approval ratings still aren't the best. So when it comes to the child tax credit and Stimulus 2020 recipients, be on the lookout for the IRS letter with tax filing info. So I went more into detail on this yesterday. So IRS is going to set out letters of what to do for tax filing, so be on the lookout for that. It's going to come out soon. And then this article right here, thousands of Americans to get $80,000 in homeowner stimulus checks, how to apply for mortgage help. So this is just going on in California. So California is on track to receive $1 billion in mortgage relief funds from the American Rescue Plan's Act's Homeowner Assistance Fund. So if you live in California and you own a home, this can be really good for you, because it's saying here that each eligible household will receive up to a maximum of $80,000. So if you have a mortgage and you qualify and you want to find out more information, it is camortgagerelief.com. mortgagerelief.org. So check out that. CA as in California, mortgagerelief.org, and you could get some mortgage assistance there. Then we have this article: thousands of Americans could get monthly universal basic income checks of up to $1,446 next year. Are you eligible? So another 2,400 Americans will get universal basic income with this program right here. So this is the Creatives Rebuild New York, also known as CRNY. What they're doing, it's a $125 million program over 3 years for up to 2,700 artists in New York State. So basically, through this program, a bunch of artists are going to get monthly checks ranging around $1,446. So it's just New York and just for artists. But then we have this one right here, $8,000 stimulus check. Who gets it, how to apply, and when it will be sent out. So what this is talking about is for parents that have an adjusted gross income of less than $125,000 and who have at least two children not older than 13 years of age. The extra money can be made available. This is known as the Child and Dependent Tax Credit. Its purpose is to assist families providing care, support children for offsetting costs. So $8,000 could be used. The payment in the new year, so when taxes are done, which could be up to $8,000, can be used to cover expenses including babysitters, transportation, housekeepers, day camps, or daycare, as well as programs before and after school. The money could also be used for care of a dependent with a disability. And then we have this one right here. Certain vaccinated workers will see a $2,000 bonus soon. Do you qualify? So I mentioned this before. In Phoenix, Arizona, they're going to get a $2,000 bonus. So it's going to be $500 for employees, full-time employees, to get the vaccine. If they're fully vaccinated by January 18th, 2022, then they'll get an additional $1,500. So that's $2,000 for full-time workers, and then part-time workers will see $1,000. Pretty good. And then there's a lot more states. There's actually 24 states right here that are offering incentives to get the vaccine. I'm not going to name all these states, but you could pause the screen and check and see if your state is available for that. And then when it comes to supply chain, so Joe Biden hails supply chain win, but problems persist. So there's a lot of people saying that the crisis has been averted, holidays are saved with the supply chain issues. I do see it getting a little better. Let me know your thoughts. Has it gotten better in your stores near you? But there are still some problems. Here's the latest update from Pete Buttigieg talking more about supply chain.
I'm curious what the readout of this meeting meant to you and what the lesson was.
Well, it was a really good conversation with the president yesterday with leaders from the private sector, and really two themes. One is the extraordinary achievements to date, and the second is the work we still have to do. Let me dwell on the first for a minute, because if you were looking at the headlines a couple of months ago, they were saying every shelf would be empty, Christmas was ruined, basically canceled, and you look at what's actually happened. Shelves are stocked. You look at Walmart, Target, they're talking about having more inventory now than they did a year ago. Ports on the West Coast, for example, the ones we've been so concerned about, moving a record number of goods, about 15% more than their all-time high. National Retail Federation predicting the best year ever for holiday sales. So a lot has gone right thanks to the leadership of the administration, thanks to the leadership in the private sector that got creative about how to get things done. And of course, maybe most importantly of all, thanks to a lot of essential workers who never had the option of coming into work by Zoom, getting it done, whether it's at the ports or the truck drivers on the road or in the warehouses, making it possible. That's not to say we haven't had issues in terms of pressure on prices, in terms of shipping timing, but if you look at the big picture, it's extraordinary what has been done in order to make sure that we've had the holiday season we have right now, where if you run out for some last-minute shopping, you're going to see the shelves are stocked. Now, having said that, this was not a mission accomplished moment because we've got a lot of work to do. Matter of fact, today, my department is announcing Port Infrastructure Development Plan program grants, about $240 million going to everywhere from Long Beach, one of the biggest ports in the country, About $50 million headed there to support capacity expansion to places you don't think about a lot, like the Ohio River, Tell City, Indiana, where a crane can be installed that's going to help move traffic off of barges for about $1.5 million, and everything in between. That normally we wouldn't announce something this close to Christmas, but the president had a very specific port action plan saying, by this point in time, we need to get more of those dollars out the door. So we did that, and we're already getting next year's grants ready to announce probably in February the next round opening applications. And I'm just talking about one program, the port program,
right.
One of many programs we're going to have more dollars in, thanks to the president's bipartisan infrastructure law. So lots more work to do, but a lot to be proud of as we take stock of how we got here.
Let's talk about the work that needs to be done, Mr. Secretary, because one of the things that we are going to be confronting over the next several months, it appears, is Omicron and what that's going to do to potentially labor shortages. I wanted to ask you specifically about what Ed Bastian, who's the CEO of Delta, has recently said, which is that he has suggested that there be some new thinking around quarantine rules and the length of quarantine rules, in part because he's worried about a labor supply shortage. I believe he's thinking about that in the transportation sector in terms of airplanes. I imagine it will also impact all sorts of businesses, including at the ports and the like. Would you advocate for a rethink of quarantine rules?
Well, we're always going to take our cue from the CDC and start with what the public health leadership thinks is best for keeping the American people safe. But, certainly we need to continually reevaluate what we do in every part of our response to the pandemic, because the facts on the ground are changing in terms of there being vaccines that we mostly didn't have a year ago, therapies emerging, and also our knowledge of things changing. So between what's going on with the variants, what's going on with treatments, testing, and vaccinations, and what's going on in terms of our understanding of what mitigations are most effective, we should continually be revisiting what we do. And that's exactly what happens. In this administration, I sit on the COVID task force, where we're always looking at where we are compared to where we were, and how to make sure the American people are safe. Now, some things are clear and they're not changing. And maybe the biggest among them is that we need to get as many people vaccinated as possible. And that includes getting those boosters so that people have maximum protection no matter what curveball is coming next.
And that is all the stimulus news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here is my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
This is Bella's tip of the day. I want to tell the one thing that you should do. Like, before I was reading this book, I believed in myself, and I can believe in you too. So just focus on believing yourself and focus on making other people's personalities believe in them too. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a very Merry Christmas. Enjoy your Christmas Eve. Enjoy your Christmas Day. I might do a video tomorrow. I might not. It all depends on family stuff. I'm actually going to go a little later today to spend time with my family. We're all going to sleep over a family member's house so we can spend Christmas morning all together there. So yeah, it'll be pretty exciting. I'll keep you updated on what goes on with that. But anyways, if you want to check out my latest Wise Vibes video, you could click up here. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Be safe. Thank you for watching.